As a kid, I used to live out by a lake.
Oh, I actually have goosebumps. It just hit me why I love New Moon the most. Hi guys, welcome back. It's Candy here today with another book review video. So we are hopping into New Moon, the second book of the Twilight series. Unpopular opinion, New Moon is actually my favorite Twilight movie. And I kind of thought about it a lot last night when I was reading New Moon, thinking about why that is. And I think it's because a lot of what happens in New Moon is so much more relatable and kind of like real life, because the majority of the book is Bella spending time with Jacob instead of Edward. So it's a lot of more like human to human interaction, for a while at least, versus the oddity that comes with Bella interacting with vampires all the time and having to worry about if she smells too good or if she cuts her finger and all that stuff. So I will say right off the bat, I recognize that New Moon seems to be sticking more with what happens in the movie than Twilight did. And I don't know if that's just new director, or did so many Twilight fans complain that the movie was kind of quite a bit different at a lot of aspects than the book, or what. But I noticed right away, starting reading New Moon, it starts out, it's Bella's birthday. Of course, she doesn't want anyone to acknowledge her birthday because she doesn't like that extra attention. Alice plans this big birthday party for her at the Cullen household, and that's when everything goes wrong. She cuts her finger while she's in the middle of opening one of the gifts. Edward flings her against the wall. Then that's when her whole, like, I think it's her arm starts bleeding. They have to get Jasper out of the room. Even Alice can't handle the smell of her blood. And it just created a lot of chaos. Then all of a sudden, that's when Edward just becomes this total jerk. Like, I really had a hard time reading it in the book because it really comes across so harshly, because you can't see Edward's like facial expressions and his body language. I feel like in the movies you can feel how hard it was for him to do what he felt he needed to do, which was to tell Bella that him and his family were moving away, that he would no longer be part of her life. In the book, it just seems so hurtful. Like, he literally just leaves her high and dry. So unexpected. I don't know, it was really painful to read. I really felt sorry for Bella. Okay, we did find out on page 74 what New Moon means. I had mentioned it in the Twilight video that I hoped they mentioned New Moon in the other titles of the books, so we can kind of get a feel for like what the title means. And this actually happens at the scene where Edward just gets done breaking up with Bella. She's devastated. She ends up getting lost in the woods, and she kind of loses track of time. She ends up laying there. She ends up falling to sleep, and it's getting dark. It's nighttime, and she mentions, "Why is it always so dark here at night? Surely, as a rule, some little bit of moonlight would filter down through the clouds, through the chinks in the canopy of trees, and find the ground. But not tonight. Tonight the sky was utterly black. Perhaps there was no moon tonight, a lunar eclipse, a new moon." I shivered, though I wasn't even cold. It was black for a long time before I heard them calling. So I guess it doesn't really tell you why it's titled New Moon, other than the fact, to me, I look at it as this was such a defining moment for her. Edward leaves her. She's now on her own. She realizes that like she can no longer be that girl, Edward's girlfriend. Like, this is a new moon for her. A new leaf. She has to figure out who Bella is now that Edward's no longer there, part of her life. It's like she's lost, kind of like what's next. And then chapter 4 is when Charlie puts his foot down, her father, and says, "That's it. You're going to live with your mother. You're not staying here moping around any longer." And that's when she ends up going to the movies with Jessica. And then that's when she realizes that there is a way that she can see Edward, not in reality, but like the next closest thing, that she can feel Edward's presence, or at least imagine him more clearly, almost like it's really happening. And that's by kind of putting herself in risky situations where he kind of pops up and is like warning her, you know, "Please don't do this. I'm concerned for your safety. Turn around, go back," whatever. You definitely see that she's really struggling to like reconnect with her friends. So that kind of is not going so well. So then she comes up with the bright idea she's like driving down the road and random sees these two heaps of metal, which are two motorcycles that don't even run. She gets this guy to help her put them in her truck and then takes them to Jacob's house and is like, hey, do you think we can get these motorcycles running? And then that's when I finally realized too, like, so she had money saved up to pay to get these bikes fixed, to pay for all the parts, I should say, because she has a job. She works for Mike Newton's family's little store. I think it's like a hardware store. Especially don't remember it because it's not in the movies. Like, I don't understand. It's like, once again, they take away something from the movies that makes Bella so relatable as a teenager. Has a job. Like, imagine that. So Bella and Jacob are working on the motorcycles. Well, they're getting ready to go see how many parts they can find, like used parts at the junkyard and stuff. And I just love this part here where Bella describes Jacob. And she says, Jacob was simply a perpetually happy person, and he carried that happiness with him like an aura, sharing it with whomever was near him. Like an earthbound sun, whenever someone was within his gravitational pull, Jacob warmed them. It was natural, a part of who he was. No wonder I was so eager to see him. God, their relationship is just so like wholesome and real. Unlike when you think of like how Edward and Bella's relationship just started out just so weird. And do you ever wonder like why Bella was so extremely drawn to Edward? Like, I get it. He was like super good looking. Everyone thought he was good looking, but like, did he treat her exceptionally well? No, definitely not. And she had already like fallen for him before he was ever even nice to her. It's just kind of weird if you think about it. I love this part where Jacob says if he was smart, he would have drug out the whole process of fixing up the motorcycles because it's like he got it done too quick. And now he's worried that like Bella's not going to want to come hang out with him anymore. All right, I'm in my office. I'm literally supposed to be working, but she's now riding the motorcycle. And I just love how much they're sticking to the movie. And I say that backwards, how much the movie stuck to the book. Even the part where she says, she's like looking at Jacob because he's got his shirt off. He's like, what? She's like, nothing. I just hadn't realized before. Do you know you're sort of beautiful? And then he's like, you hit your head pretty hard, didn't you? I love that. It's so cute. She went to the hospital though and actually ended up having to get stitches. But they lied and said that she tripped and fell on a hammer.
Lights go infrared. Spend all day in bed. I get the wine and the corkscrew. You don't have to do one single thing.
Can't even tell if this thing's recording. It's so bright out here. All right, so I'm about to go in and start dinner. I just wanted to check in with you guys. I feel like I'm not getting a ton of reading done today. However, I am to the part right where Bella is about to find out that Jacob is a werewolf. Here she had gone hiking by herself, trying to find the field that her and Edward had gone to with all the flowers, and she kind of, I don't know, got lost or whatever. And that's when she ran into Laurent, and then when he was like threatening her and she's hearing Edward's voice, that's when 5 wolves come out of the woods, and of course she was scared of them. She didn't quite understand why they were only going after the vampire, thinking that they should be afraid of the vampire. They all 5 took off after Laurent, and she went home and told Charlie they're not bears, they're wolves, like all that. Pretty much everything. I really respect that they're pretty closely sticking to the book. I don't know why I'm enjoying it more. I do really love Jacob and Bella's relationship. I love their banter. I loved in the one scene when the 3 of them were in the movies together. It played out exactly like in the movie where the boys were sitting in the movie theater chairs with Bella in the middle with their hands like this, like thinking she was going to take either one of their hands at any moment. And then when Mike's in the bathroom, Jacob's saying to Bella, like, he's a marshmallow. You should hold out for someone with a stronger stomach, someone who laughs at the gore that makes weaker men vomit. Like, I don't know, that was cute. However, Jacob did not act mean to Mike like he did in the scene in the movie. He didn't say anything rude to Mike at all, so that wasn't true either. But yeah, so then Jacob starts feeling sick. They tell Bella he has mono because she kept calling, no one's answering, like all that so far. It's really good. I don't know why I really enjoy New Moon so much, but right now I'm 250 pages in. I'm about 45% of the way through the book, and that kind of seems weird to me. Like 45%? Like what else needs to happen? What in the heck just happened? So I'm at the part in New Moon where Alice comes back to see Bella to check on her because when she did the whole, like, what do you call it?
Skydiving.
Not skydiving.
Cliff jumping.
Cliff jumping, thank you. She thought like Bella died, or she thought she was trying to commit suicide, and Bella was like, no, I was doing it for fun. Alice is like, why? Who does that for fun? So then Alice stays the night. Jacob comes the next morning and it's like, can I just ask you a few questions? So Alice leaves. Jacob's in the house. They're having a conversation. He basically just wants to know, are all the Cullens coming back now? How long is Alice staying? What's happening? And the phone rings. And here's the conversation. Swan residence, Jacob said in his husky voice, low and intense, which is what happens in the movie. Jacob answers the phone, right? Then he says, he's not here, Jacob said, and the words were menacing. Then there was some very short reply, a request for more information, it seemed, because he added unwillingly, he's at the funeral. So Jacob hangs...
That happened in the movie.
Hold on. So then Jacob hangs up the phone, and he's like, filthy bloodsucker, he mutters under his breath. Okay. Bella is furious. She's like, who did you just hang up on? I gasp, infuriated. In my house and on my phone. And Jacob's, easy, he hung up on me. Bella says, who was it? He sneered the title, Dr. Carlisle Cullen.
Oh, it was him?
That's not what happens in the movies.
It was Edward.
It was Edward that called. Why would they change that? What? See, this is the little things like that.
I think it's more interesting that it changes.
You do? Mm-hmm. So it makes you like want to read the book?
Imagine if you read that book and it was the exact same dialogue as the movie. It would be so boring.
That's true.
Beat step over, splinter.
Oh. So Alice is like, what happened? Bella said, Carlisle called, Jacob answered the phone, so on and so forth. Alice says, that wasn't Carlisle on the phone. I just get goosebumps.
What, it was Edward?
So Jacob's like, are you calling me a liar? And then Alice ignored him, focusing on my bewildered face. It was Edward. The words were just a choked whisper.
See, that's better.
He thinks you're dead. I like that. I actually really like that in the book now. All right, guys, so I'm gonna go to bed, get some reading done. Right now I'm at the part where Alice is traveling with Bella, and Alice is saying that Edward did go to the Volturi, said that he wanted to die, and they told him no. That they said they do not want to destroy him because it would be wasteful, because Arrow wants Edward to kind of like join their team, be part of the Volturi, that they could use his special skills. So they're still traveling. We all know how this ends. Bella saves the day because Edward's about to just walk out in public during that parade or whatever that's going on. But I kind of don't remember what happens from there because I'm only on page 435, which is 77% of the way through. So guys, I'm on the last like 30 pages of New Moon. Where we left off last time, of course, Bella saved the day, saved Edward. So here we are again at the end talking about how Bella's like, you know, you told the Volturi I was going to become a vampire. When are we going to do it? Are you going to do it? Is someone else going to do it? So the book is ending exactly like the conversations in the movie. They're voting on whether or not Bella should become a vampire. Alice, yes. Jasper, yes. Rosalie saying no, that it's not that she doesn't want Bella as a sister. but she wishes someone would have been there to vote no for her. Esme is saying yes, I already think of you as family, and Carlisle ends up saying yes, that he feels like Edward's chosen not to live without her, and so that doesn't leave him any choice but to say yes, she should become a vampire. Crazy, crazy, crazy. So they're deciding that it's gonna happen after Bella graduates. Oh, it's gonna make me cry. I forgot that he proposes at the end. Remember when he says, okay, I'll do it myself. I'll turn you into a vampire on one condition. And she says, what? He says, marry me first. And she's like, I'm only 18. And he's like, well, I'm nearly 110. It's time I settled down. I don't know why that makes me cry. Oh, so this is all happening in her bedroom. Remember in the movie, it happens outside in the field, which is better. This would have been not as good if it would have happened in her bedroom. I don't know why when I was reading it, I'm like literally visualizing them sitting in the field. It actually just hit me. I actually have goosebumps. It just hit me why I love New Moon the most out of all the books. I think I love a really good breakup and then get back together story. And that's what New Moon is. Edward and Bella, destined to be together. We all know that they end up together forever and ever and ever. And I guess I just love the experience of those two breaking up, her trying to survive without him, going through all the emotional turmoil, almost falling in love with someone else in the process, and then they end up back together. That's why I love New Moon. And when I read Eclipse and I share with you guys what my favorite scene in Eclipse is, you're probably gonna think I just have a disturbed mind, that it's actually the difficult moments, the most difficult moments are my favorite moments. I wonder what that says about me. Okay, do I even need to say 5 stars? We all know. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I tried to make it more of like a little reading vlog instead of just sitting down and discussing the book. Hopefully it was fun to go through pretty much the whole book with me. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching. I will be back in 2 weeks with Eclipse. Next Sunday will be a different book video. I'll be back in 2 weeks with Eclipse. So if you're reading along, start reading Eclipse now. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll be back next Sunday with a different book video. And then 2 weeks, we'll be talking about Eclipse. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.